Hello everyone. There is a really big topic outside here in the YouTube world that I have seen, and that is that a lot of minimalist people here on YouTube, they talk about a low buying year. Many YouTubers have the last couple of years talked about a non-buying year, and even I. And I had a non-buying year last year, and I can say to you right away that I failed. And the reason why I failed is because it is really, really hard to have a non-buying year. And I don't know who come up with that idea, because I got a lot of anxiety and I didn't feel good at all. Do I wish I could have a non-buying year? Of course. That should save me a lot of money. But to be honest, it's not working if you is not living off grid and you make your own food or you fish your food or hunt, because you always have to go to the store and buy something, for example, food or soap, shampoo, toilet paper. And I know there is some people who can live without some of this stuff. Not food, of course, but they can grow their own vegetables. And that is a dream for me also. But I think it's like, if you live in the society today, you can't have a non-buying year, or it's really, really hard. And I think that all people who tried that out realized that it was too hard, and now the vibe is to have a low buying year. And I was thinking we're gonna talk a little about this and compare these two. So let's jump into that. Okay, we're gonna compare a little of this. Here you have a non-buying year, and here you have a low buying year. And what is the difference between these two? In a non-buying year, you are not allowed to buy anything. So how do you survive? In a low buying year, you are allowed to buy stuff that you have think through and that you buy with intention, and you don't just buy on emotions. This have sit down in your head or on a piece of paper for quite a long time before you actually make your decision. On the other hand, in the non-buying year, you need to make categories who is not included in the non-buying year if you don't have anyone else who gonna buy everything for you. And I think that it's a little bit cheating, if you ask me. If you decide if you're gonna have a non-buying year and then you tell your spouse, your husband, wife, partner to buy the things instead. The things still come into the household, and therefore I think it's not a non-buying year, you know? If something come in, if you just ask someone else to buy it, what's the point? And then you need to make categories that is excluded from the non-buying year. As for me, example, food was not included for me. Things for my son that he actually needed, like clothes when he grew out from it, shoes, skincare, soap, toilet paper, and shampoo, conditioner, to keep me working and feel good with myself. But I was not allowed to test something new. I was just allowed to buy what I loved and what I already know I'm gonna use, because I already had the product and the same brand. But at this side, a low buying year, you don't need to have categories, because you can have a low buying year on everything. You can decide how much money you want to spend on every category and work after this. And it's really good to make a list either if you do it on paper or you do it on your computer, and track your income and outcome. Because then you know how much you spend on each category, and you also know how you're gonna save. Because, for example, I know I'm gonna have a no paper year, but I do it on paper because it's more convenient to me. And it's easier for me, for my brain, to see it like this than if I had this in the computer. So it's always what's best for you. And for example, I can see here that I spent now in February 5,420 krona on food. And this month I took out everything who was snacks and fika and things like that. So this is just a regular food. Then I know if I can save little on this or if I actually bought too little food. Because the more here in Sweden, at least, I don't know how it is in your country where you come from, but the cheap food is often the bad food. So if we're gonna eat healthy, we need to pay a little more. So it don't have to be something bad that you take up your budget for something that make you feel good. And for example, food, Sweden count that we as a family with children, we're gonna eat for 9,000 every month. And here I sit and say to you that I spent 5,420 krona on food in February. So that means that now when I have a low buying year, that means that I can put and split my money better on the things that is actually more beneficial for me. Because I can also see in February that I put out a lot of money on parking. And that can be explained that I had quite many appointments at the hospital, and it's a little bit too far away for me to walk. Then I can think of that okay, I put so much money on the parking. Is there some places I go where I actually can walk instead of taking the car, so I don't have to pay for the parking? And put that money on food instead, so we can eat more healthy. I also spent in February, I invested, or actually I find on sale, some equipment for workout. And I find this, it's just for stomach, and my husband uses it. Also found this that my son wanted, because he wanted to train with this. And for me, which I use when I do yoga, which is something really good that I spent money on, it is this medicine ball. And actually also on sale. And when I bought the other two equipment, this cost 150 krona, and it was half price from the regular price. And then I didn't take this, but I was thinking of it, and I asked my husband, like, it's not good to have a medicine ball when I work out, because then I can take more workout on my arms. And he told, yeah, I think this is really good. So I went back to buy this, and it was down to 100 krona. And it was original price 300 krona. So I think that was really good. And because I use it, I allowed myself to actually buy it. And if I had a non-buying year, I shouldn't buy this. It should not be beneficial for me when I work out. And it should take longer time for me to build some muscle on my arm again. But now when I have a low buying year, I can put money on things that matters to me, and I have already decided my goal for this year, and one of them is to be more healthy and eat better food. And it go together then that I can spend money on these things without having anxiety, because it's go together with one of my goals for 2025. And I think also it's important when you decide your budget and you sit down and really decide what you're gonna put your money on, who you allowed yourself to put your money on your low buying year. And I don't say that you're gonna go out and just spend your money, but you know how much money you have. Sit down and do a budget and decide where you're gonna put your money. And it don't have to be on stuff, it don't have to be on food, it can also be on savings, right? Because then you can use it for something further along that you want to save up to. And it's not about not spend any money at all. The low buying year is to spend the money on things that matters to you, things that go together with your values, things that go together with your goals that you have for this year. And in a non-buying year, it's more like you put a fence in front of you and you make it harder than it have to be. So what then is my rules for my low buying year? I think that shopping creates shopping. And with this I mean that if you buy something, you get the feeling that this was really good and you want to do it again. So I think it's really good to avoid shopping, but it's so easy to do it now on your phone or your computer, because you just have to go in, click down the products. It's really easy. You get this home really quickly. You don't see the money go out, and it's repeating itself. And then we realize that we spend too much on things we didn't need, we didn't even like sometimes, and we overspent. I want to reduce the shopping. And I have reduced a lot of shopping habits I had long time ago. I remember a period in my life, I think it was probably more close to 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, that I always sat down with the catalog and I marked every item I wanted, and then I bought everything. And we talk about I could buy stuff, clothes often, or things for the home for 7,000, and I didn't care. And I don't do that anymore. It's not so often I buy some clothes. The 3 sweatshirts I buy January, it was something I had been thinking of for a really long time. And that is one of my goals, to not buy anything that I have not been thinking of. And also to not buy anything who don't go together with my values and match my goals. So I'm allowed myself to buy this medicine ball because it was going together with the goal I have for 2025, that to do more training, take up my body again, and to eat healthier, to be healthier. And this don't just sit in the hallway, I actually use it. But something I have to spend money on, that is something who is a little bit against my values, and that is that I have to buy a lot of books right now, because every new course I have in school, they want us to buy like between 5 and 10 new books that we need when we study. So I can't just skip it, because then I don't get the information I need to actually learn the thing I have to learn. So it's a good cost in the end, but I don't like to fill up my home with more books, and I don't like to spend so much money. But I know I do it for my goal to be an occupational therapist, and I think also that I can check this and it's go together with my values and my goals, because I really want to help people, and with the books I can learn to help people in need. And something else is to not spend more than I actually have. And it's really easy today to take things on credit, to use the credit card and pay a little every month. And when I do it for some things. Like, for example, I took my phone and my daughter's phone that I give her for her 20th birthday. I took this on credit and I pay it every month. And this is something like, I know I want to have the phone for many, many years. And I think we also have to separate the wants and the needs. What's the difference between them? Because all the stuff we buy, it's gonna take our time, it's gonna take our energy, and it's gonna take our money. It's really good to separate these two, because when we actually need something, there is not so many options for us if we actually need it. The option is more like hunt the best quality item till the best price. But wants, this is often something that we buy and then it goes really quickly, and then we want something new again. And a good way to come around it is to shop in person instead of just click on the phone or in the computer, because we feel it more in us when we actually have to give them the money. But for some countries, for example here in Sweden, money is not out there. You know, it's almost money in paper form is almost finished. It's only card everywhere, and the most store don't even take regular cash. You have to pay with card. So here it's really, really hard if you want to live with only money in your hand. And I hear actually this sentence, like, you trade your money. And is exactly what you do when you buy something. You trade your money for something else. And you want to trade your money for something that goes together with your goals, with your values, with your beliefs, and that you're actually going to use it. Because who want to trade your money for something who's going to cost you in the long run? For example, storage space. And if we're going to go back a little to the paper I showed with my budget, what is also the meaning if you don't go back every month and check your budget? You have to count how much you actually spent, and if you keep yourself in track with your budget, you keep yourself in your limit box that you allowed for yourself. Because many people just put their budget but they never check if they succeed or not. And I think it's really important that you check it, because then you know if you need to spend a little less on something, or maybe, as example for me, need to take up more money on food to eat better food and more healthy food. It's a lot to talk about this, but I think I get down the best part, or the part that I look for and see when I check the budget and think of money. And please let me know in the comments if you have something to say about this, or if you want to ask something. And As usual, I want to thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye!